So one of the things that, as we come to the end of our time together, we generally talk about is survivorship of chronic pain. So often a patient will be in pain for 2, 3, 4, 5, could be 10 years. And the assumption is that if you've been in pain for 10 years, then something really significant and bad has happened to you. And unfortunately, sometimes that's just not the case. And I say unfortunately because if you've been in chronic pain, it's almost more comforting to know you've actually got a structural problem, because at least you know what you're dealing with and you know how to battle that. But very often we see the x-rays and MRI scans of a patient's back, for instance, and it really isn't that bad, and yet they've been in pain for 10 years or more. And so conceptually it's very hard to figure out how that happened to them, and indeed whether that's going to come back again. And so chronic pain, in a very real sense, is about trying to normalize the nervous system's sensitivity to the problem. But the real issue is that often patients never really feel that they've understood how this has happened, even though we explain to them that it's to do with the nervous system and the nervous system has been sensitized and trying to protect you. We are almost habituated to expect that there is a structural problem. And the reason why we mention that is because if pain returns down the road, patients automatically, because it's an emotional response, assume that, okay, I really do have a weakened back or a weakened neck or whatever it might be. And really that's not the case. And so the message is, actually it's not normal to go through all of your life not experiencing pain. And so if you've had chronic pain for 10 years in your back, and we manage to help you and you get out of chronic pain and you're feeling great, what you really need to do, and this is part of our conversation about survivorship, is you need to pick an event. You need to pick a half marathon, you need to pick a marathon, you need to pick an Ironman that you absolutely know in your heart's heart you would never have been able to do with the back or the neck being the way it was. And the reason why that's important is because it's vital that you divorce in your mind your back as it is now from the history of the back as it has been. Because you are going to have pain again, more than likely in your back or your neck. It's normal. But if you're able to divorce the two and actually set a line in the sand and say, okay, well, I did have 10 years of back pain, I was a year and a half without pain, and I went to go and do an Ironman, and I actually did my Ironman, and I managed to do it without any pain, and then maybe a month or two later I'm driving or asleep awkwardly and I have back pain again. It's really important in your mind you realize it's just a new event. It's not connected in any way to the old one, because if you start to connect the two again, you're going to re-establish that need to protect yourself. And that's really important. You need to view each isolated incident as, oh, I've just hurt myself again. And leave it in that bucket, leave it in that spot, and don't worry about it any more than that. Because as you start to worry about what it can mean and the meaning of it, it starts to spiral and get worse for you. So survivorship is picking an event that you know that you never could do and actually set your goals on that, complete that task, because that at least will allow you to realize, wow, I've come so far, my back must be really healed.